أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Chapter 37, Surah 37, Ayah 123 to the end tonight, inshallah. Okay. You recorded?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. And indeed, Elias was one of the messengers. When he said to his people, "Why do you not fear God? Do you call upon a statue instead of the best creators? God is your Lord and the Lord of your ancient ancestors. However, they rejected him, and they will surely be summoned. Exempted are God's servants who are purely devoted to him, and we preserve their history for the subsequent generations. Peace upon Elias. How do you say it? Elias. We thus indeed reward the pious. He was indeed one of our faithful servants, and surely Lot was one of the messengers. And we saved him and his family altogether, except an old hag who was left with the doomed. We then destroyed the others. And certainly you passed by them during the day and during the night. Do you not use your intelligence? Also Jonah was one of the messengers, when he took refuge in the loaded ship. He joined them, consequently he became a rejecter. Then the whale swallowed him, and only he was to be blamed. Had he not resorted to supplication, he would have surely remained inside his belly until the day of resurrection. We therefore threw him out into the desert, and he was really sick, and we grew for him a tree with edible fruit, and we dispatched him to 100,000 or more. And they all attained faith. Consequently, we let them enjoy for a while. Ask them, does your Lord have daughters while they have sons? Or did we create the angels female while they were witnessing? They do indeed make up other lies, as they say, God has begotten a son. However, they are indeed liars. Has he chosen daughters rather than sons? What is with you? How can you judge like this? Do you not take heed? Or do you have a profound authority? Therefore, bring your scripture if you are truthful. And they also invented a relationship between him and the gens. However, the gens know full well that they all stand ready at his disposal. Glory to God far above their descriptions. Exempted are God's servants who are devoted purely to him. Indeed, neither you nor what you worship disturbs him in the least. It only disturbs those who are in the heart of the inferno. Each one of us has a specific rank, and we are certainly stratified in rows, and we are constantly glorifying God. And there are those who say, if only we had a reminder like that of the previous generations, we would have definitely been servants of God and would have been purely devoted to him. But they rejected him. Consequently, they will soon find out. Our word has already been decreed to our servants who are messengers. Indeed, they shall be victorious, and our armies always conquer. Therefore, leave them alone for a while, and watch them. They are also watching. Are they rushing to receive our punishment? However, when it descends upon their backyard, what a miserable day will it be for those who were warned. Therefore, ignore them for a while. And watch. They are also watching. Glory to your Lord, Lord of dignity, far removed from their descriptions, and peace upon the messengers, and praise God, Lord of the multiverse.
Thank you, mashallah. Very good. Very good. Okay, are there any questions, any comments, any observations?
Sir, yes.
Yes.
It's Ayah 125.
Uh-huh.
The last word, creators, how come that's plural?
Yeah, the best of creators, yes. Ahsan al-Khaliqin. That's one of God's names. Okay, so, the idea of Genesis that, that creating something from nothing is God's alone and no one else. But the creator, people create things from other things. Okay, so that's what God calls it that. And like, for example, you see that human beings, Adam was created from dust and so on. Okay?
Yes, sir, I got it.
And you and I are created from, a sperm and egg. So, yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sure. Any other comments or questions or observations? Anything? There are several things that we have to notice here that when we go through the Quran and God is telling us is that one thing which is really seems to be a constant is his rejection of God's message, and it is universally being basically propagated, and it doesn't matter if this contemporary to us right now or is in the past. They all seem to be doing the same thing, and it's a very constant of this whole process. And here God is describing all of these messengers, and for example, Elias is one of the messengers, and then when he said to his people, why do you not fear God? Okay, so the same thing that we have, the problem that we have today happened at that time too. So historical records that God is describing for us in the Quran is a testament to the constancy of rejection of God's message. It's never changed. It's been always the same. And so no matter what the messengers do to try to deliver God's message, they are being shunned and they are being rejected.
Salam, Dr. Fazely.
Walaikum salam, Shakira. Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, the description of peace be upon the messengers, peace be upon the messengers, but also God also says, he blesses Moses and Aaron, blesses the messengers as well.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
I was thinking that if there is peace upon the messengers, and those that follow those messengers, God repeats that also many times in the Quran about the messengers and those who follow him, they will also be at peace. They are also blessed.
Yes, of course. Yes. I mean, and we also read this here that God says that, let's see, edible fruit, and they were witnesses. See, remember now, I talked about this in the case of Jesus and Mary, and I said that when God is telling Mary, inspiring Mary, that go ahead and shake the trunk of this tree and fresh ripe date will fall, that was a sign from God, that it wasn't seasonal. A lot of people think that Jesus was born at the time when the fresh ripe dates were available. Okay, but that's not true. What God is doing, He's actually putting a fresh ripe date unseasonably onto the tree, on the palm tree. The same thing in here. We grew for Him a tree with edible fruit. Okay, so that fruit tree was not there. Okay, so this is a sign that God is showing Jonah. So we have to be very careful with these things. Okay, that God is not describing a date for us. He's describing His signs and all of these things, because He said that He has brought into existence a stream beneath you. The stream was not there, and the stream was actually brought into existence by God. And so that's all of these things that I wanted. But I wanted to actually go to that. Let's see. I'll find a minute if you just bear with me. There it is. Okay. Our word has already, this is 171, 171. Our word has already been decreed to our servants who are messengers. Indeed, they shall be victorious. Okay. Remember in chapter 49, okay, God said that I and my messenger will surely be victorious. So again, God is telling us the same thing here. Okay, the same thing. That no matter what the reaction of people to the messengers are, you see, you got to think this way: that although they were shunned and ridiculed and all kinds of stuff in this world, in this worldly life, this is nil compared to the hereafter. And the true victory is going to be in the hereafter. Okay? So when God says these kind of statements, He makes these kind of statements in the Quran for us, which every one of them is a sign, okay? He's telling us as a broader thing, a much other thing which is well beyond our comprehension. He's not just referring to this, okay? Because a lot of people think of victory in this world. Not a lot of people, 99.99999% think that victory, when God says victory in this world. That's what they think, which is wrong. God is talking about universal victory. And everybody is going to be shown and what's going to happen and how humiliated those people are going to be and how exonerated all these messengers are going to be. Because that's a promise from God. Okay. So that's the point I wanted to make.
You actually told us about that. Remember that Dr. Khalifa had written down that in one of his appendices that actually that Jesus was born in October.
That was actually there. It was one of the footnotes, if I'm not mistaken. In one of the footnotes, okay. And, again, as I said, I disagree with that because that's God has given us a time, okay, and it's not giving us a time; it's giving us a sign, okay.
Yes.
All of those things that He describes, and there are signs. There are signs, one after another, okay.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is actually it's to put Mary's mind and heart to rest that He is with her. Okay, you got to think of these things in a broader picture. Okay?
Yeah.
She was pregnant at the time when they were stoning the adulterer and the adulteress. That was the law of the people there. That's what the punishment was. Okay? And so all of a sudden this woman is pregnant, and so you can see how she feels, and then God is coming in there and doing this for her to put her mind to rest. Okay? And that's why he says, brighten your eyes. Okay? Eat and drink and brighten your eyes. So don't be sad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, then that's why when you said that, you actually confirmed the fact that he was born in December.
Of course.
He was not born
in
October.
Yeah, otherwise the entire the entire calendar and everything will change. Think of it that way, okay? But the calendar is not changing. The calendar, we know that the calendar is correct, okay? So certain days in that calendar and the Hijri calendar are supposed to be coinciding. And if that wasn't the case, it would just mess up the whole thing. But the point is that God is telling us, okay? And so that's what we have to do. We have to go along with what God says.
I actually in the what I remember is that the baby Jesus actually told her about the tree and to pull it down. And
exactly. Yeah. Actually, the word ja'ala means bring into existence. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what the word ja'ala is. Okay, so that means that God did it this way. Okay, and brought into existence, arranged it in that way, in that fashion. Okay, and so.
This other thing, other verse that tells you that indeed neither you or what you worship disturbs him in the least.
Yes.
It only disturbs those who are in the heart of the inferno. Basically, God, everything that God is telling is for our benefit. We are not understanding that. We are thinking that he might benefit in some way from it. He will not.
Yeah.
Every single thing he's doing, when he tells you don't curse their gods, basically he's telling don't do it because they're going to get even worse with their evil, and their situation will be much deeper in hell.
Yep.
So it's really amazing how people are not really understanding who God is in this sense, because in the sense of mercy and forgiveness, those things they are not understanding that what his position is and who they are and how they are misunderstanding him.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Salam, Dr. Fazely.
Walaikum salam. Yes, go ahead, please.
I just wanted to share this when thinking about Mary and that date tree. I understand it's just a sign, but I think in my head I was imagining those big tall palm trees that were so tall that she had to bend the branch over. But I did some work in Arizona for about a month, and I was in the middle of where they produced about 80% of the dates for the United States. And the date palms obviously would take 4 or 5 people to go around the base if they were holding hands. And they're not the smooth trunk that you think of. They'll give you shade, but they have really bristly, hard trunks. So I think that was miraculous was that with that prickly, huge tree that doesn't look like it would bend because it's only probably less than 15 feet tall. I think it was so miraculous that he gave Mary that comfort.
Yep.
And so every time I see one of those dates,
God changes it this way. Yep. Exactly. It's God's provision. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Any other observations? Any other?
Dr. Fazely, Jerry, Dr. Fazely?
Yes, please. Go ahead, Jerry.
Yeah, I was reading this ayah this week on Mary, 1924, and it was amazing because when Mary began to feel the childbirth pains. She said, I wish I was there before this and completely forgotten. And then I didn't realize that. Then it said, he then called on her from beneath her. And that was Jesus. That was baby Jesus, baby.
Yes, exactly.
And he was talking. He was talking to her. Do not be sad, for your Lord has made a stream beneath you.
Yes.
And it was just amazing that Jesus was talking to her all this time, and he even, like he said to her about brighten your eyes. And I just thought that was, and it just said tonight, it was alhamdulillah, it was just amazing that I know that Jesus was talking to her from beneath her. I mean, what she was had he, I don't know if he was exactly where he was beneath her when she was talking about the birth pains, and then he went in and she went right in. So, but alhamdulillah, I just wanted to make that note. So, alhamdulillah, thank you for the Juma and everything. Alhamdulillah.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other time? Walaikum salam, Mahmoud. Yes, go ahead, please.
On 128, that statement exempted God's servants who are purely devoted to Him. I was checking this, and it happens in this chapter 4 times.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
in
right.
verbatim. Illa ibadallah mukhlisin. And that's also 19 Arabic letters. In the whole Quran, it happens in this chapter 4 times.
Yep.
You got highlighted.
You're saying that this is 19 Arabic words. I mean,
letters.
Letters.
Let's check. Yeah, that's what I counted.
Let's count it. Okay, let me see here. We'll go to this thing here and open up a new word file. Okay. Okay, we'll count it. What is that? Word count?
Word count or letter count?
It's no word count. Let's see. There it is. Okay. There are 4 words in there, and characters, no spaces, 32. 32
the letters.
The letters, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Wow, you're right. Why does it give you the wrong answer here? I don't know why.
It's adding these spaces.
No, it's not. It says no spaces, actually. Let me just highlight this. Okay,
I was using the one that you shared with us. Remember the I think they have in Masjid Tucson, the geometrical value count.
That one? Yeah, I know.
And you put it in that one.
Yeah, well, let's see here. Preview, word count. No, it says 32 for some reason. Character 2 spaces. No spaces. Character with space 35, 32. I don't know. This thing made a liar out of me. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's doing this.
Is it counting the haraka? No,
I don't think it's doing that. No. It shouldn't do this. But anyway, it's doing it. There's no way there's 32 in there. Okay? That is true. There's no way. Okay? Now there are 19. Yeah. Very good. Yeah, but you're right. It's actually mentioned so many times. Yeah, in this 4 times in this one.
4 times, 5 times actually, but one, it's not in verbatim. One of them is different. I think 176 is different.
I see. Okay. Okay.
But all it started from 3740, 3774, 37128, and 37160.
Okay.
So basically, we get in this reassurance that only if you are devoted to God alone,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you will be saved. So that even though a lot of messengers were mentioned in this chapter, the core message is God alone. Do not idolize the messengers. Do not idolize the messengers. Call God alone. Worship God alone. Commemorate God alone. And put all credit to God.
Exactly. Well, He's the doer of all things. That's the key, and people forget that. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Peace.
Peace to you too. Any other comments or questions, observations? Yeah, the other thing that I wanted to mention in this one, it's let's see, when God rescues Jonah, okay, and then I just wanted to mention here that this 100,000 is the largest number that's mentioned in the Quran, okay, and but as we've seen from the mathematics of the Quran is that a lot of mathematics is pointing to the fact that God is, is referring to even much larger numbers that are absolutely, mind-boggling to us, that we really have no idea that what they're really used for. Okay, that's what you have to think about. Like, for example, if you have something which has like 800,000 digits, as we've seen for the Mersenne prime, which has number 36. Okay, and so if we have that kind of thing, so when God says that He assigned a number to everything, then the number of things becomes absolutely mind-boggling. Okay, that a number which has 800,000 digits actually is assigned to a creation of God. Okay, and that shows the power of God and how great God is, and we really have no clue. Okay, and so that's why He says that the descriptions that people give to God is below His dignity, and so that's why we have to stick with the descriptions that God is giving us in the Quran. He's introducing Himself to us, so we cannot go beyond that, and so we have to stick with it and accept it, because that's who God actually is. What His description is in the Quran, His attributes are in the Quran. So that's we have to stay with that and do not deviate from that. Okay. But in this case, at the time of his life, Jonah's life, and this is really a record of people believing. I mean, you look at these other guys, like Jesus, Moses, and all of these people, people didn't believe. Okay, Muhammad they did not believe. They they basically shunned them and rejected them, and tried to do their best to impede their mission, but they cannot succeed. I mean, this is again when I say that God is talking about the global victory, not a local victory. And a lot of people think victory means victory in this world, but that's not the case, because God is talking about the universal victory, which is going to be attained. He said, I and my messengers will surely overcome, or surely be victorious. So, most assuredly. So that's what God is telling us. But this is a huge number that at the time of the life of a messenger, actually all of these people believed and they accepted the message that God sent through Jonah. Any questions? Any comments? By the way, we're going to have our Night of Power or Night of Destiny tomorrow, and if you guys want to join us, the same time, okay, the same time as our Quranic study, 8:30, inshallah. So we'll be reading the Quran for about an hour or so, and if you want to join, if you like to join, just dial in, and we'll be here, inshallah. Okay, anything else? Any other comments or questions?
Salam, Dr. Fazely.
Okay, go ahead, please, Shaka. Yes? Alaikum salam.
Actually, I wanted to, this thing that you said in the Jummah.
Yes.
Was very, you said some things in it that I don't know whether you said it before, but you said that when you do the Al-Fatiha, something happens in the universe.
Yes. Yep.
And you said, we see it. I don't understand that, but we see it. It is right there in terms of numbers. So we are seeing the numbers, yes. So we actually... Yep. And then you said, so these numbers are unlocking something in the entire universe.
Yes.
And God is in contact with us.
Yep.
So this is very, very powerful. And I wanted you to repeat that so all of us will remember it every time we do our prayers. You actually went on to say that that's the reason why you have to utter the words in Arabic, because you are doing the 139. And then also that Surah 9 has 127 verses. So, and that's the reason why we do what we do 17 times a day. And all of that, you proved it by giving all these proofs about, about the 19th additive point. So this one, you did not say it before, that something is happening in the universe, and then actually that... you actually said that something in the entire universe is the numbers are unlocking that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, remember now. Yeah, remember that God is telling us. You say He assigned a number to everything. Okay. So everything has a number, and so all of this go through these motions. Okay, that you have no clue. Okay. So tomorrow again we are going to read those. Those verses again, that God is talking about the idea of that transport, okay, that the soul of Muhammad was actually transported in one night, okay, and this is absolutely mind-boggling. That speeds are absolutely mind-boggling. These are instantaneous things, okay, that we cannot understand, and some of these things are actually doable, because remember now in the case of Solomon, okay, these guys Solomon is asking, who can bring her palace to me, okay, before they arrive? And the jinn guy says, I'm going to bring it before you stand up, okay? And then this other guy who has knowledge of the scripture, then he says that I'll bring it before you blink your eyes, okay? So all of these things, these are some kind of transport that are possible, and we have no clue about it. But once these numbers are assigned to these things, all of these things are possible and probable, and everything that we can actually attribute it to. But that can be compared to these things, speed of light is absolutely nothing. Okay, it's absolutely nothing. Okay, and I brought this example, and I said that if you actually go 2.5 billion times the speed of light, listen to this very carefully. If you go 2.5 billion with a B, okay, which is 1,000 million, 2.5 billion, 2.5 billion times the speed of light. Okay,
right.
And you want to go to Andromeda Galaxy. Okay, it's going to take you 8 hours and 45 minutes to get there. Can you imagine that? An Andromeda Galaxy, our sister galaxy, which is 2.5 million light years away from us. Okay? Even at that speed, it's going to take you 8 hours and 45 minutes to get there. Can you imagine that? I mean, this is how big this universe is. And then God is saying that, this went to this place, which is called, God calls Masjid al-Aqsa, which is the farthest place of worship. And that is heaven, basically. And then God says that he showed him his signs, okay? And so that was done basically in a blink of an eye. As God says, the stars fell away, and, and your friend was not crazy, and all kinds of different descriptions that God has given us about that. But, these kind of things, as I said, are possible, but, the knowledge of this is with God, obviously, and he tells us that he creates these things, and then God says he creates what you do not know, okay? Which is present right now to everybody, okay? And it's going to be present to the people in the future, and it was present to people in the past, and God is creating right now as we speak, and he creates things that we do not know.
And also you are confirming that the same thing is happening to the words that we utter, which in terms of numbers is actually unlocking something in the entire universe. If you really try to understand it in its simplicity, what it is actually telling you that your reverence for God must be so immense that the way you stand up to pray, the way you do, you can't really. I mean, I was thinking of those armies and the soldiers, how they walk. They're trained to walk in such a way that they look like robots. I mean, that is exactly what we should be doing. Our concentration must be completely on God. The way we stand, the way we face. It says, face your face to the Kaaba. Face. You have to have your face to the Kaaba. And you have to do that with great respect, because you go in front of some lousy prime minister or whoever, and then you don't move anything, you don't do anything. But in front of God, you have to do far better than that.
Yep.
This one was because it simply turned my whole life upside down.
Well,
I can't
good.
thank you
very
enough.
Good.
Thank you.
What we do is, what we're doing is that, as God is telling us in the Quran that He's telling us here. I'm just trying to. What happened here? No. Okay. I'm trying to find this, and then I'm gonna make a point here. And there it is. The word that's used here in these verses that God is describing And he says, exempted are God's servants who are devoted purely to him. The word is al-mukhlasin. Okay, al-mukhlasin is somebody who is pure. Now, purity is very difficult to achieve. Okay, purity is not easy. Okay, and I brought examples of impurity that exist within, for example, I don't know. I mean, example of silicon or any element. They have impurity of other things in there. Okay, there are maybe atoms of carbon in there, or maybe another aluminum or something in there. But if you want to just get silicon, pure silicon, it's going to be very difficult to achieve that. And so this purity of the soul of the person, it's very difficult to achieve, and it only comes by worshiping God and devoting yourself to him alone and no one else. Okay, and so that's why, as I said, God is creating all of these different mechanisms for us, and through which we can actually remember him, and we can be charitable and everything. And I brought the idea of pregnancy, that what pregnancy actually is through this 9 months of this. And that's why it says that the mother carried him arduously. Okay? So that mother who did that is a charitable person. And that goes into these equations on the day of judgment. Okay? And so that idea is something which God has created, and so through which he can actually give credit to people. Okay, that's the amazing part. He actually create these kind of mechanisms through which he can actually give credit to people. And I can't even fathom the generosity and the love and the mercy that he has towards human beings.
Yeah, that's really true. If he didn't have it, none of us would pass anything.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you are in medical field, and so you've heard about this maybe, or you haven't heard, but they said that fertility rate is actually going down worldwide. Okay. And because people, keep complaining and say, oh, the population is just going to keep growing. And that's not true. It is not true. Okay? That's what we think. Okay? They said that it's worldwide. It's not just the United States or anything. So it's basically between 16.9 and 17.1%. That's the non-fertility rate in the world right now, which is a lot. That means 1 out of every 6 person in the world is not fertile. Okay, so they cannot produce babies.
Yeah, what you're telling is absolutely true, and the vast majority from 2050 on, and it will mostly be from Africa. That's very very specific when they're telling that. And all the westernized countries, all of them, theirs is going to drop down, not just because it will drop naturally, but people themselves are don't want to have children.
No, but this infertility rate that I'm talking about is universal. It's not just the West.
Yeah.
Okay. This 17%, average 17% is universal. It doesn't matter where you live. Okay, and that is going to affect the population growth. There's no question about it. And now we don't know if it's actually increasing. That's the other question. Okay, but with what people do. People say, look, we don't want this. Okay? We don't want what you're giving us. And as I was saying today, that you cannot rectify a mistake with another mistake. Okay, that's what I was trying to say today. And that is a a double type of sin that somebody commits. And so the unwanting of a blessing from God is something that is not looked upon, nice way. Okay, it's going to have consequences, and so we see these consequences.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fazely.
Thank you.
Salam, Dr. Fazely.
Walaikum salam, Nishat. Yeah.
In most verses in Quran where God is calling himself Wasi and talking about expanding his creation, there are verses in Quran that I think, if I'm not mistaken, is specifically talking about disbelievers or unfaithful, and it says the environment around them is contracting. So using
shrinking.
Shrinking. And
yes.
So is that a feeling that those people have as if they're like entrapped somewhere, or is it actual physical contraction?
No, this is actually, no, it's not contraction in that sense, okay? The land becomes arid. You cannot, it's not fertile land. So you cannot grow vegetables or fruits or anything, okay, or wheat or barley. You can't do that. So that's how it shrinks. So it's useless. What are you going to do with it? Okay? There's not enough water. There's not enough rain. I mean, these guys who've been in California, they know about this. Okay, what happened? Past 10 years or so, there was a huge drought there. And there was not even enough water to drink, let alone doing anything else. But now God has provided water again. And, if you don't have those kind of things, then the land is useless and it's not livable. So you have to move. That's how it shrinks. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything? Any other comments or questions or observations? Okay, so if there are none, then we'll stop here at the beginning of chapter 38, and then